Will VGK's playoff experience and home ice advantage carry the Golden Knights to the Cup final as they get set for the opening game of the Western Conference Finals against Dallas?
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Tony Cardasco along with Chris Golick. Welcome to our show. We are from Las Vegas here, and thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. You could find us on YouTube, Locked On Golden Knights. Please subscribe there. Of course, on Twitter, we are at Locked On VGK, at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G. We are brought to you by the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. So, Chris, early on here, as we set the table for the playoffs, we did talk a lot about VGK's Cup experience. But now with the final four teams, we saw a graphic that you posted yesterday, and just a reminder about how much experience the Golden Knights have. The most players, actually, six players who have won Cup titles. So you have Ivan Barbashev and Alex Pietrangelo with St. Louis. You have Chandler Stevenson with Washington, who hoisted the cup here in Vegas, by the way. The two-time Cup winners and Phil Kessel, Alec Martinez, Jonathan Quick, and the only Stars player to lift the cup, if you will, is Tyler Seguin, 2011 in Boston. So I believe that this experience matters. It really does, especially in the later rounds, this time of the season. And as we expect a very tightly contested series between VGK and the Dallas Stars, could this be a major difference? Let's start there.
Of course. I'm going to start somewhere else for a second. Then I'll get back to you, Tony, I promise. So on YouTube, we're getting some heat already, Tony. Can you believe this? We're getting some heat from some Stars fans who came on.
Am I getting some? Am I getting
No,
heat?
Me.
We. Okay.
So actually, no, you a little bit, but
There's
really
no
fast. So
we
got a few, we got a few Stars fans coming on. And first of all, everybody is welcome here. Thank you so much for taking the time. That said, there's a graphic that's going to be in the middle of the screen. It says Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. Okay, folks, this is a podcast that is geared towards the Vegas Golden Knights. It's not going to be fair and equitable. Tony, I know, Tony, you might jump on a little bit, but
I think I'm in the wrong Zoom
even our
room.
perspectives, we research the Golden Knights. We follow the Golden Knights. We don't follow the Stars. We don't follow the Oilers and stuff like that. So I guess I should take a second maybe to apologize to absolutely no one. Guys, this is a Vegas Golden Knights podcast, okay? We will do our best to get information for the Stars and the other teams and things like that. If you want something that's a little better for the Dallas Stars, how about Locked On Dallas Stars? Or if you want something down the middle, how about Locked On NHL? The one thing I can promise you, Stars fans, if you're still here and you haven't turned us off already, is when the series starts, it's not only VGK. We're not going to make excuses about officiating. We're not going to do things like that when the series starts. When the games start, it is pretty fair and equitable. But for now, as we prep our Vegas Golden Knight followers, that's what we're doing right now. So Stars fans, thank you for being here. I hope you stay, but just understand this is not going to be fair and balanced. That's not what this show is. It's Vegas Golden Knights.
They'll love me by the end of this show, though. They'll really be liking me, I'm sure.
Oh, they'll definitely love you, Tony. So back to the comment, just expanding a little bit more on the Stanley Cup experience. You have 9 Stanley Cups won amongst the VGK players versus the field. The rest of the teams only have 5. So that right there is worth something. I know everyone has to win it the first time, and maybe this is the Stars season or the Hurricane season or the Panthers season, but the experience the Vegas Golden Knights have at winning the most difficult trophy in sports will play a part as the season or as each of these series progresses big time. Now, the coach versus coach, maybe that's obviously a different story. Pete DeBoer's been to the Cup, and so is Cassidy. We'll see which coach obviously can take what they've learned from their experiences. We hit a little bit on that yesterday. Does Pete DeBoer have anything else left to learn, or is he basically going to do what he's done, which gets teams deep and not win a cup? Or Cassidy, is he going to take? I mean, he had a chance to hoist the cup on home ice and lost. So both coaches, you can say, yes, they got the experience. They've also failed. So which coach has learned more from their tough cup experiences in this series? We'll find out in about 2 weeks.
I'm interested in seeing what the fan reaction will be for Pete DeBoer. Do VGK fans, obviously it's getting tense, the temperature's rising, as of course Cassidy says. And so how will Pete DeBoer be received here in Las Vegas?
He'll be fine for now, but here's the thing, like Pete DeBoer, he finds a way to get himself involved in like these little weird wars of words sometimes. We saw Gallant, right? Gallant and DeBoer. Didn't Gallant call DeBoer a clown in that
Called
series?
him a clown, yeah, in that series. Yes,
and then
did.
DeBoer was just going up and back in the first round, wasn't it, with the Minnesota Wild coach?
Mm-hmm.
They were going up and back a little bit in the media. I don't know if anything happened in round 2 with Seattle. And this isn't a knock on DeBoer. It's just, it happened, right? He finds a way to kind of get himself in the middle of some of these things. So we'll see what happens after the first game. If there's something weird that happens, whether it's one of the teams runs away with the game, whether there's a series of weird hits, physical play, whatever you may have it. We'll see if DeBoer says something or if Cassidy says something and DeBoer responds. So it's always interesting, right? I mean, we all gave DeBoer, I don't want to say a standing ovation, but he was very well received when he came back in his welcome back game. The fans enjoyed having him. The second game when they were here, it was kind of indifferent at that point. Obviously, they didn't make any fanfare about it or anything like that. So can DeBoer become the villain by the end of the series? Maybe is a better way to put it, which we'll see. We'll see.
He's definitely going to be the enemy now. And as things again heat up here, I feel that, we're talking about.
He is all class. We like DeBoer. He is all class. Stars fans, Pete DeBoer is all class. There you go.
Okay. I feel, though, we're talking about experience some, and Phil Kessel, I think, could find a spot in this series because it's not that fast and quick and wide open hockey that we saw in the last series against Edmonton. Do you agree? I think we'll see Kessel in the lineup at some point during this upcoming series.
I mean, I think you have to go player versus player and what they bring to the table. And you look at what you are asking of the player. Offense. Let's say we need scoring punch later in the series. Let's just say we're not figuring out. Ottinger is having a remarkable series, and Ottinger is capable of stealing the series. Let's be completely
He's up and down.
clear.
He's so up and down lately.
But if he gets up, we saw the regular season
zone. Watch out. Yeah. Watch out if he gets into his zone.
Ottinger's the best goalie remaining in the playoffs right now. Better than Bobrovsky. I know Ottinger's numbers are not necessarily, but as far as goalie skill, Ottinger's the best goalie in the playoffs right now.
Okay, VGK practiced yesterday after having a day off on Tuesday. Neither Alec Martinez or the goaltender Aiden Hill were on the ice, and they had a few days off here, folks. Why do they need an extra maintenance day? Perhaps Martinez. He's blocked so many shots. He had that series, of course, and the big game that he played in the absence of Alex Pietrangelo. He really played well in that contest, and he blocked a lot of shots. I can understand that. Aiden Hill, I'm not quite sure. Nothing to see here, right? These two players should be back.
Let's separate this. Alec Martinez barely practices in the playoffs just based on his age, what he goes through and everything. So let's not overthink Alec Martinez. Aiden Hill is on the radar. I mean, we obviously record before practice goes. I think they practice at 11 o'clock local time. It's about 7 a.m. right now. I would assume everything, right, Tony? Yeah, we've both been up for an hour already. That's the funny thing, if not longer. There you go. But Aiden Hill, I want to watch just to make sure. Listen, there's the gamesmanship. We've seen. I mean, Nick Waugh was only going to be a couple-day injury earlier in the season. He missed over a month, right? So, Shea Theodore, nothing to see here day to day, misses over a month. So I don't think anything is up with Aiden Hill. I don't assume anything is up with Aiden Hill. If Aiden Hill doesn't practice today, something is up with Aiden Hill. And it's Jonathan Quick time. It's Jonathan Quick time. We're gonna have a quickie, Tony. That's it's concerning a little bit if it comes to that, but
right.
Back to Phil Kessel. We kind of started a little bit down the path there. If Kessel draws into this lineup, do you play him over Pavel Dorofeev?
Yeah.
My answer,
Yeah,
my gut instinct is no, but I get the experience.
Nah, they will. The experience factor, and just again, it's this time where you have to play smart and heady hockey. He's been there before, and you want a leader and just someone that understands what's at stake and plays well under the pressure.
But do you want someone who is just going to get to the red line, dump the puck, and get off the ice?
That's fine.
Do you want someone who,
as long as he doesn't turn it over? As long as he doesn't,
and that's my point, Tony.
As long as he doesn't Shea Theodore it,
fine. But you're making my point here. Kessel will play a very smart vanilla game and wait for his chances. When he gets to the red line, that puck's going deep, and he's probably going off the ice. Or if the shift just started, they'll chase and we'll see what happens. When he's down low, I mean, if he can get a chance to get in there and find, a goal, great. But, Dorofeev is the one who gets dirty. Dorofeev is the one who goes to those tough spots. If you're looking for someone on the defensive side, this is where would you rather have Amadio or Kessel out there? Who's going to play a more responsible 200-foot game?
Yeah, I want the responsible player in Kessel. I think that's a given. I would go Kessel over Kolasar at this point because he's going to play more responsible hockey.
And then you're dropping Howden down to line 4, obviously. But line 3's working with Howden and Stevenson.
It won't be he won't make any bonehead plays, okay? And at this time of the season, and especially against a team that's been in the box 25 times, yeah, I'd much rather go.
Okay, I like that.
VGK has home ice advantage, which is a surprise, given that this team was not very good at home early on in the season.
Yeah, you're not talking about the record. You're talking about we literally are a good home team all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, they're a very good home team. Yes. And they do have some sort of advantage when the fans aren't sitting on their hands like they did at times during the Edmonton series. That's another story.
Are you Shea Theodore's girl? No.
But for the remainder of the playoffs, this is an area that they've turned around at home. 4-2 in the playoffs at home, 25-15-1 during the course of the regular season. How much of an edge is this if it goes 7 games, which it might, because, again, I just think this is going to be a tightly played series. And I said yesterday, whatever team flinches first, they are at a major disadvantage, especially game 1. You need to set a tone.
Yeah, so as far as the advantage and all of that, the playoffs have been very wacky. So a couple things about the playoffs here. As crazy and unpredictable as the playoffs have been, it's also chalky. We got 3 division winners amongst the final 4, which so bizarre thinking about how crazy it's been. You look at Seattle, Dallas in the last round. It goes 7 games. Dallas, of course, God, I feel like the home and maybe I could be wrong, but there was down the stretch like games 6 and 7, the home teams won. And Dallas, obviously,
we don't have 3 division winners. Dallas finished 2nd behind Colorado, didn't they?
No.
Okay, Dallas won that division.
In any event, fans.
Okay, yeah. There, don't get that.
You go. Just ramble for a second.
No.
And I'll fact check. I'm scared.
Okay, here's something too for VGK fans. We have not seen the Golden Knights play.
Colorado won the division.
Yeah. We have not seen the. Okay, I get a W finally.
I'll take Crow. You guys can give me that one, Stars fans. I'll take that one.
The Golden Knights have not played this deep into a season in a while. Okay, hear me out here. It's been a while since they played games into May. I go back to May of 2018 against Washington when they played in the slush. Remember, the ice just started to melt, and now we have heat plus humidity. That's not good for the ice. We might see
T-Mobile will be fun.
We might see some poor ice conditions, and all the ravers for EDC are going to be in town dancing around. That could cause a lot of commotion there.
Yes, a lot of trouble, Tony. The EDCers, that's definitely going to have an outcome on the series.
Okay, so do you think I'm going to set up a rave there in the area outside of T-Mobile Arena. So do you think that this home ice advantage is a big edge for VGK?
Oh, I definitely think it's a big edge. It's working right now. I mean, early in the season, there was 2 questions we as media members were talking about. One was, how come you can't do anything in the second period? And how come you can't win at T-Mobile? And, Cassidy was just scratching his head and bobbing and weaving, trying to figure out exactly, why it wasn't working. And it was tough. But obviously, as time went on, as a veteran team would do, they found a way to figure it out. So that's certainly a good thing. And I mean, T-Mobile's a rocket environment, and it's going to be primarily home fans on Friday and Sunday due to what you just said. I feel sorry for the Stars fans that did want to come to Vegas this weekend because it is so expensive because of EDC and all the things that are happening. The flights are going to be astronomical, and you're going to pay probably $3.99 a night to stay at Circus Circus, which thoughts and prayers if you end up doing that. So, NHL, we'll talk. Maybe this will be in our What the Thursday segment later. But point being is there will be more Vegas Golden Knight fans in the arena than normal because the road teams do travel well. The Oiler fans traveled very well. You expect the Stars fans to travel somewhat, but I think it's going to be pretty cost prohibitive for them to come this weekend. Now, come maybe game 5 in a game 7, I think you'll see more Stars fans in this weekend personally.
What are some of our keys for VGK if they want to advance to the Cup final? We'll have more after this on Locked On Golden Knights. Forget planning months in advance. Gametime has deals on tickets right up until the day of the event. It is perfect for all you fans that do want to purchase tickets for the Vegas Golden Knights game coming up on Friday and then again on Sunday at 12 o'clock noon. And it is perfect because you really don't have to plan. All you need to do is download the Gametime app. The Gametime guarantee, it means that you will get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and for less, Gametime credits you 110% of the difference. They're really good. Buy tickets in just a matter of seconds. Both myself and Chris have utilized it, and just a couple of taps, and you are set. Tickets are sent directly to you. You don't have to scramble, dig through your emails to find your tickets. So download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. That's right. Again, create an account. Use the redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. We come to you from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. And, of course, go to the YouTube channel and please subscribe. We are cooking there, and that is Locked On Golden Knights.
Books are cooking. They're cooking.
They're cooking the books. Kelly McCrimmon plan, or whatever you call it.
McCrimmon plan, that's it. Hey.
Dane Lewis will be with myself. Will be on the crossover coming up tomorrow, and he is from Locked On Stars and a terrific guy, and I think he'll have some really good perspective. That's something you don't want to miss because it will be more fair and balanced than Golick over there. And then, of course, our WTF segment, we move to a third segment today. So after we talk about some keys, we'll get into WTT in Cincinnati.
Tennis tournament?
Yes. So at the top of my list, keys to the city, score early. I think VGK needs to set the tone. Again, we're talking about setting the tone here. They don't want to fall behind. They did get bailed out. They did have a good response against Edmonton in the past series. I am really concerned about Dallas and their ability in the transition game, right? And on the rush where they get those stretch passes, they get the puck out very quickly. And so VGK cannot get caught. And they pinched an awful lot in the early stages of that Edmonton series. But then after they got burned, then they finally figured it out. Defensively, you need to stop Joe Pavelski from setting up. Sets up shop in the high slot. And Cassidy addressed this yesterday. We talked about his deflections. And then later in the day, yes, Cassidy also made a point of that. VGK, again, they need to score early, offensively, play loose, and attack. I go back to the Dallas-Seattle Game 6, and Seattle was so loose, and they were facing elimination. And all they did was attack. And I think that was a major key. And if VGK comes out, they can score goals against the Dallas Stars. Thoughts?
No, I agree on 100% of all of that. I mean, setting the tone is important, but VGK only scored the first goal in the Edmonton series once. So it would be nice to not chase every single game. But VGK is poised. Again, another word that might be one of my keys in a second here. VGK doesn't panic like they earlier in the season. Like this was another thing that got addressed so often when VGK would fall behind is they were so, hungry to get that goal back. They would play unresponsible for a while, and it led to leads spiraling quickly out of control. Whereas they kept their poise in the Edmonton series for the most part, as far as chasing the games went. For me, I think we'll start with Aiden Hill. I think Aiden Hill, hopefully, if he's playing, obviously, Tony, Aiden Hill is going to need to steal a game or two this series. Ottinger has struggled a little bit. His numbers are not, what they were in the regular season and such. I do expect Ottinger to have a very responsible game, and he's going to steal a few games himself this series. He could steal a few games at least if he's playing up to it. So I think Aiden Hill needs to outduel Ottinger at least one of the games. Special teams, Tony, we got to talk about that. Kind of in the last series, right? I felt if Vegas could keep pace with the special teams scoring for three of the whatever total number of games the Edmonton series gone, obviously win 6, but my prediction was VGK needed to tie or win the special teams battle in at least 3 games of the series to advance. They did that. They tied them in 3 of the games. In this series, I think we need to win the special teams battle at least one of the games. And then if we tie or better 2 of the other games, I think VGK will end up being just fine in that regard. So for me, goaltending and special teams is kind of where I'm looking in this series.
Okay, you talk about special teams. VGK needs to create more man advantage opportunities because they just did not draw enough penalties in that last series. 25 opportunities we mentioned yesterday for the Stars, and they've cashed in on 12 of those, and their kill is about 89%, which is awfully good. So special teams, a major factor. Another factor, balanced scoring. This will be team hockey on each side. VGK had 13 players throughout the course of the playoffs, the first 2 rounds so far, score at least 1 goal. With Dallas, 15 players have scored at least 1 goal. So I think that's going to be important. Again, anyone on the ice can score. So again, defensively, you just need to guard your opponent. Pretty simple, sounds like it, but anyone can score in this series.
The line combinations are going to be interesting. The home team is going to be very fun to watch how the chess games goes between DeBoer and Cassidy. How are they always going to match line for line, the home team that is? Are they going to mix it up? Who's going to be the first coach to make maybe a head scratching either in-game adjustment with a line possibly, or between games 1 and 2, all of a sudden Phil Kessel draws in the line in the lineup and nothing really happened in game 1 to warrant that. So, I'm really interested to see which coach is going to win the battle amongst the coaches. And this is where I think Cassidy could have an advantage over Pete DeBoer, right? I mean, we talked about this so often last year, especially down the stretch in those last 15, 18 games when they couldn't score on the power play. They couldn't score the big goal, but you didn't see anything changing, especially with the power play. Pete DeBoer, at least with the Vegas Golden Knights, it was 3 passes amongst the perimeter, get a shot, and then you hope someone is in the front to tip that puck and cause some trouble. Now, VGK did not have Joe Pavelski last year, who, as you said, is so good at playing between the circles in that high slot area, not afraid to get dirty. That I call that area the money zone for my son Chris, when I'm telling him where to go. You want to get paid? You want to be a hockey player? You go stand right there. You'll get your opportunities. And VGK didn't necessarily have that same punch like Joe Pavelski. So, we're going to have to find a way of whether it's one of our defensemen, whether it's one of the forwards, depending on where he sets up shop. You're going to have to keep Pavelski and Jamie Benn and Rupe Hintz and everyone else away from our goaltender. Some that we didn't need to worry about as much with the Edmonton Oilers because most of their attack came from the circles and then obviously the loose change to the side of the net. So we'll see if Cassidy has an adjustment up his sleeve. And let's hope we start calling him Pete DeBoring at some point, because if we start calling him Pete DeBoring, then things are going well. But if Pete DeBoring is able to utilize Joe Pavelski, then all of a sudden he becomes Pete Exciting, and we don't want Pete Exciting. We want Pete DeBoring.
Okay, this is a rematch of the 2020 battle in the Edmonton bubble. I think 4 goals. I know Pete DeBoer always stressed 3 goals and you win. I think 4 will be a magic number. I
Five
think
and a half is the over-under for the first game, Tony.
yeah,
Lowest one I've seen in a while. 5.5.
yeah, they put it down to 5.5, bang the over because they
You're gonna
could
see a
still
lot of, I
score.
don't know, Tony. You're gonna see a lot of 3-2 hockey in this series. A
I
lot of
think so.
3-2 hockey.
I think so, but we could also see an explosion like we saw from the Kraken, right? Against
Robertson is not
Dallas.
going to be as quiet in this series as he was in
No,
the
he didn't
last
score the
series.
last
Robo's going
series.
to
Yeah,
make
did not
his
score a
presence
goal.
known.
And then we have that amazing statistic about Jackie Aces. Did you see the did you see the interview about the tattoo and all that? It's up on our Locked On VGK Twitter handle. Uh, Jackie 10-1 outscoring opponents when he's on the ice
This
in
is my stat.
5v5.
This
Yeah,
is my
did you see
stat.
that stat that I stole from you?
I've been all over that stat for a while. I've been
Well,
using
you
that
didn't bring it up, so
in
I
my
had to
card
remind you.
shows. People just get wowed by it. But that said, I mean,
It's not the stat, it's you, brother. They're wowed by you.
It's all me. It's all me. No, but what Jack Eichel is doing very well right now, it's his board play. It is keeping possession of the puck, whether he's on his forehand or his backhand. He is extremely strong amongst the boards. He is winning those 50-50 pucks. He's winning those battles, and then he is creating time and space by keeping himself about 1.5 to 2 feet off the boards, keeping the puck close to the boards, using his body to create separation. And then the players are just moving around and things are happening. So Jack Eichel, he's our Conn Smythe front runner right now, and he is going to need to continue. He doesn't need to do it by himself. He has learned to adapt to a team mentality instead of in Buffalo where he was the man. He's the man here, yes, but there are many men here that can do the job all by themselves. We saw obviously Marchessault take over game 6. Mark Stone has made his presence known. Riley Smith is coming along. William Karlsson, amazing 200-foot talent, doing a wonderful job, Tony. There you go. So, but Jack Eichel needs to keep doing what he's been doing. And if he keeps playing at that Conn Smythe pace, better than a point per game and creating those offensive zone opportunities. But his defense is there too. Jack Eichel, not William Karlsson. Jack Eichel's defense is there too right now. So it's a complete game, and it's a lot of fun watching him blossom in front of our eyes.
If VGK wins, it'll be because they exploded again in the second period where they're outscoring opponents 19-5, which is amazing because, again, they really stunk in the second periods. That interview, by the way, is with Buccigross, and Eichel at the end says that he's going to get a Bucci, one of the tattoo of his face, I think, at the end of that, which is interesting. Okay, let's give our predictions for this series. You can go first, Chris.
VGK in 5.
Whoa, 5.
I think you're going to see a different version of the Vegas Golden Knights, and it's no disrespect to the Stars. I see a lot of close games coming. I'm going to give the edge to Cassidy being able to outcoach DeBoer in the matchups, the home ice advantage. Give me a gentleman's sweep. Give me a gentleman's sweep. We're going to win. We're going to win 2, lose 1, win 2.
I have Dallas in 6. I'm going to go with Dallas in 6, and the VGK fans will, half of them will be happy that I did that because I've been wrong. Yeah, they will. They might have the victory parade already. I'm going to go Dallas loss, win. They'll split here. Win, loss, win. That's the way it's going to play out.
Win, loss. Say that again, Tony.
Loss, win, loss, win.
And that's from the perspective of Dallas. Okay, and then I'm going WWLWW. Write it up. Hang another banner.
Okay, coming up next, we've got WTT. What the Thursday? Yeah, what the whatever. That's coming your way.
Already started the segment.
Okay, coming next, right after this, on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. And as you know, we had to make some adjustments, in-game adjustments, if you will, because
in series.
Yeah, in series. So we typically do WTF What the Friday every Friday. Today we had to move it to Thursday because of the crossover with Dane Lewis from Locked On Stars.
Which is good reason. So, Dane Lewis is a good guy. It'll be a great show.
Okay, let's start, and we have to kind of sift through these fast.
Fire.
Okay,
go.
So I want to blast again ESPN, 10 o'clock Eastern time start this past Sunday. They don't know when they're going to play the next game. I think it's stupid. They're talking ESPN and TNT making a swap for games and all of that. ESPN, get it together. If you are really serious about hockey, then make sure that you take care of hockey. WTT.
All right, so the business of the Vegas Golden Knights does drive me nuts sometimes, folks. As a season ticket holder, it drives me absolutely bonkers because I pay for the right to resell my tickets through the Access app for games I can't go, or if all four of us aren't going to go. I pay 15% more. The Vegas Golden Knights offer this, and I pay for it, which is fine. I got no problem with that. The tickets for this series went on sale on, was it Monday, I want to say? They went on sale on Monday, but yet again, I don't have my tickets until Tuesday. So the Vegas Golden Knights get the jump, if you will, on selling the tickets while not giving me the chance to do so. Fine, whatever. I'm used to this crap. It's been like this for 3 years now. What also drives me nuts is yesterday they sent an offer to season ticket holders to buy more tickets for the games. But you could buy tickets in my section for $125 if you were a season ticket holder. But I personally am paying $159 for tickets 2 or 3 rows higher than that. So VGK is first, they're undercutting me to start selling tickets, and then they're undercutting me during the series. So as a season ticket investor in this team, a day one person, that is just bad business, folks. That is bad business, Vegas Golden Knights. What the Thursday, Friday? Yeah, okay, there you
go. We've got a WTF from @that_guy 448. He's got a couple of WTF TTs or whatever. WTF to the Coyotes, just overall WTF.
Oh, God.
And yeah, WTF for no playoff games for most of this week. Again, the scheduling is just horrific, man. The one person that's going to miss if Arizona moves, the one person that will miss that team the most is Bill stinking Foley, because the front end of the back-to-backs routed through Arizona. It's garbage. Next season, fans, be on the lookout, because this was the most rigged schedule in the history of the National Hockey League. Move to Houston, okay? Because then maybe they won't route them that way. It was so bad. It was so blatant. Only 8 back-to-backs for the Vegas Golden Knights. Dallas, do you hear me?
I was just going to say that, Tony. I was just going to say that if Stars fans made it this far, that they're going to love you.
I made the turn. WTT.
Made the turn. I like that. All right. So more on the scheduling here. Why couldn't they have started the series on Wednesday? Wednesday would have been ample time. I mean, you do get the short turnarounds for teams that go 7 games. I don't mean this from an advantage point for Dallas being on a short rest or anything like that. That's not my angle at all. This is for the Stars fans who wanted to travel to Vegas. You have EDC this weekend. You have all that nonsense. It is going to be so expensive to be here. If you run the series on Wednesday and Friday, at least the Stars fans traveling and the Vegas fans making the drive to the Strip, traffic won't be that bad. And the Stars fans won't pay as much money to be here on a Wednesday and a Friday versus a Friday and a Sunday. So NHL, you are so beyond out of touch with scheduling, as we saw in Series 2, as Tony just alluded to, and now obviously with this series. So there you go. What the Thursday NHL scheduling again.
Jeff Nevada said 5:30. I think that's, of course, why are we starting a game here at 5:30?
That's normal this time of year, though. That's normal.
Okay, but there's going to be a ton of traffic here on the Strip. Get an early start if you can.
Always traffic. But yeah.
Get the Vegas flu on Thursday so you don't work on today, so you don't have to work on Friday, of course. So WTF there on the 5:30 start time. They've not had, and then Sunday we come back with a nooner, okay? So there's going to be a 12 o'clock face-off time on Sunday. VGK stinks a lot of the times in these matinees. They're still doing their chores and getting their cars washed again.
But when they won the conference a few years back, it was a matinee game. So, it's all good, Tony. It's all good. Really fast, Lee, our beloved Golden Knights, Lee put a tweet out there. I can't remember the exact wording. It was a little chippy, but basically he was telling the Golden Knight fans not to wear their green St. Patrick's Day jerseys.
Still, I mean,
I'm wearing mine. I am wearing my green St. Patrick's Day jersey.
Why? I'm just curious.
Because okay, there's 2 reasons. One, it's fun. It's a little bit of a troll.
2, it's clean.
Yeah, fair enough. That's probably number one. But it's a little bit of a troll, but it's fun because I did this for one of the games during the season, and the Stars fans would go by, they'd give me a high five, they'd see the jersey, and we would laugh. But then we would exchange pleasantries and joke. Like I met so many fun Stars fans. We just had a fun light moment because of my jersey. So that was a lot of fun. I'm going to do it at least for one of the games. I don't know which one, but probably the Friday game. Look forward to meeting some Stars fans. I'll cheers you with I'll have my kid with me, so I'll cheers you with a water or a Sprite or something like that. Love talking to the Stars fans. It'll be a good time. Can't wait.
Okay, WTT to Ryan J. Rusak. We made it this far without mentioning that outstanding columnist from Fort Worth.
Here's the last one here, but
the Knights have terrible uniforms, completely made up second choice nickname, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I countered with, speaking of second choices, if you were top notch, you'd be writing for the Dallas Morning News.
That was pretty good, Tony. That was pretty good.
Was that okay in Chirpsville for you?
I mean, as long as our bosses aren't reading our tweets that day, sure.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just didn't think that what he said was fair. Definitely not a sports writer. Definitely not. And then fans did some good digging and found out that he was a St. Louis Cardinals fan. They were just ripping him. Of all things, good stuff. Keep it above board.
We're having fun, folks. We're having fun.
Let's have fun. Let's have a great series.
Yes.
For my man, Chris Golick, we appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers, those folks that put up with us each and every day. I don't know how.
Godspeed.
Yeah, Godspeed for sure. For Chris, I'm Tony Cardasco. Tomorrow on the show, the crossover with Dane Lewis of Locked On Stars. We'll see you
Maybe
tomorrow,
a Saturday show for us. Maybe a Saturday show.
We are going to do a Saturday show. That's right. The extra show, the bonus content that everyone craves. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights.